Today on What Went Wrong, a new studio in Texas. Yeah.
Hooray.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and I've been making movies for a long time now, and been in Texas for most of it. And seems like at least once or twice every year, somebody's building a new studio in Texas, in Austin, or New Braunfels, or San Marcos, and it's gonna, boom off the third coast, and Texas is gonna become the new Hollywood. And after 30 years, you just smile, and that's what's gonna happen.
Yes, that's great. That's good, sweetheart.
It's
gonna work this time, though.
Exactly.
Here's your juice box. Go play games.
This week in class, one of the students, brought up a picture. Hey, this is this is the
That new big one.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
This is gonna be the new studio. We're doing this, and then I'm like, I hate to break your heart, kid, but been here,
Seen
done that.
it.
It's gonna happen, and that's what we're gonna talk a little bit about today. In this episode about Hollywood versus indies, and kind of Texas in general, and the independent film community here and whatnot, and how you got to let it go. Texas isn't going to become the new Hollywood. Hollywood has a monopoly on film. And your little studio in Texas is not going to be able to make. I mean, when you put $1 billion into Star Wars, how do you compare that? How do you compete with that as a small little independent company? So right now, we're in San Antonio. There's a small, community here,
right?
But you'll find that pretty much all over the country. Mm-hmm. But everyone keeps, claiming Austin. Austin's going to be this. One student was even said something about Linklater's all powerful, and I said no. So let's throw it out to y'all. What's your experience been? How many times have you heard of new studios coming to town and are going to be?
I started hearing about that a lot. What was it? Several years ago, when Texas cut the incentives for filming. And then all of a sudden, you start hearing everybody talking about, well, this film, they're going to build a studio here, they're going to build a studio there, and if they weren't going to build the damn thing when they had the incentives, what the hell makes you think they're going to build them now? Everybody thinks, like you said, we're going to be the next Austin, the next Hollywood, and it's just not going to happen. And as far as Austin is concerned, they've been doing South by Southwest there how many years now? Hollywood is fully well aware that Austin is there and what it offers. They've seen it. They don't want it. It's nice just to they'll come into town and trash the place for their party, but then they'll go back to their pristine hills, in California when they're all said and done, and leave this place a mess for us to clean up. They're not coming out here. It's not going to happen. Hear it all the time, though.
Yeah. Now you've talked about you talked about Austin just recently.
Yeah. So the problem is, and I hear this because of you, because I never would have noticed or cared, but thanks to you assholes, I hear this stuff all the time, and now I'm paying attention. But I do. I says, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. It's like, look, Hollywood, like you said, Hollywood is well aware that Austin exists, unfortunately, and they will come here. And I mean, there's the race circuit now. There's the South by Southwest is here. I mean, Matthew McConaughey has been talking about being out there. Half the people who are in Hollywood from Texas are now back in Texas because California is the People's Republic of California. It's a shithole. Everyone knows it. Here's the thing: the kind of people that populate Hollywood would not live here, cannot live here, would die here. They would die here because of the heat, because of the weather, because of the animals, or because they simply can't get behind the idea of what Texas is. Texas doesn't want them anyway. The kind of people that come to Texas, the Yankees, the carpetbaggers, have this idea about what Austin is. Okay, and they think Texas is Texas by what they see in Austin,
by what they see on 6th Street.
And so people will come all the time. Well, I was watching a thing on whatever the computer, what's it called, YouTube the other day about someone came to visit Austin, and he was doing a blog about it, and he talks about they took him to In-N-Out Burger. And you should have read the responses. It's like, what kind of twinkle toast communist cocksucker took you to In-N-Out Burger in Texas. Are you insane? You know? And so that was the thing, is people don't understand these Yankees, these carpetbaggers, these, you know, wussy faggy sissy boys who come here who want to live in Texas. And they don't realize that for every 1,000 square feet of a house you buy, it's going to cost you $150 to heat or to cool it in the summer. And our summer is 9 months long.
Yeah.
Our summer goes from March until October 31st, and sometime in November. It's February 2nd,
And it's 70
and
degrees
it's 70,
out.
75, 76 degrees outside. Oh, global warming. No, guys, it's been like this forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like this forever, you know. And so the people who come to Texas from Hollywood, from New York, from Seattle, they don't last. They either adopt our culture, barbecue, guns, and football, or they leave. And that is the way it is. So if you think the Hollywood, those little prissy-pantsed, faced guzzling idiots are going to come here and be able to survive in Texas, you're out of your mind. The way I describe Texas to those type of people, it's like Vietnam in 1973. As long as you stay in the cities, you're fine. But if you come out into the countryside, you're going to die.
There's definitely going to be that culture shock and that culture difference. It's two different countries.
Yeah.
You know, that
It really
they're
is.
going to be able to do. But it's also, you know, there's also a financial aspect to it. You know, we as Texans aren't going to spend that kind of money on movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, there's. I never liked the incentives program. Not a fan of government funded, you know, art projects and things like that, especially because, any kind of movie that's out there is going to have some sort of political ant to it. You know, mine as well, you know, have ideas, and I don't think the government should be paying for that or funding that. So I've never been a fan of the initiatives and the tax benefits and things like that. Why do you think that there is this? What do you think that the average filmmaker thinks that they're going to get? You know, guys like us are going to get out of these Texas tax incentives or somebody building $1 billion studio out there. My opinion, nothing. You know, because they want to bring Hollywood here. They don't care about the local guy.
Right.
It's not for the local guy.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say if they build it, let's see what happens. But why bother? I mean, you can make your own films now without those guys. That's what we're doing.
The only local guys that are going to benefit from that are the guys pouring the concrete and building the building.
Yeah.
That's the only local people that are going to benefit. Maybe the food catering area businesses in the area, the buses, the transportation, and the private eyes who are going to be spying on people out there as they do their stuff. That's who's going to benefit. That's not going to be the filmmakers.
No. And as far as the actors are concerned, you know, and that's what I hear a lot about is the actors, like, they're going to build a film studio. There's going to be a lot more opportunities for us. What was it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were filming the Walking Dead show out in Round Rock. Mm-hmm. And I know a couple of people that went out there and they got to be extras, and they thought that, okay, we've already tried it. Why didn't you break out? Because they don't want you.
That's what I was gonna say.
They don't want you. They want you to fill space.
Yep.
They want you in the background because they need a lot of people, and they know you'll do it for free.
How long did they film Saturday Night Lights?
Friday
Yeah.
nights,
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night
Yeah,
Lights.
I was
the
just thinking that exact.
Never
Yeah.
watched it, so I'd have no idea. But it was high school, not college.
Right.
Okay, there, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the big breakout from that?
Yeah.
There's all these famous stars from Texas. I mean, Willie Nelson, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock. Where are they going to bring everything to Texas? How's that working out for everybody?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It isn't. I mean,
Renee Zellweger. I mean, who?
yeah,
all these guys.
Tommy Lee Jones. These people are. There's a reason they're in Hollywood. You know, because they know they're
That's
not
where
going to
it
be
is.
able to do it here. Yeah.
That's where you go.
I mean, those people, like you said, those people are already here. If it was going to happen, it would have happened. This studio, if they ever build it, I don't see it happening. But
It's California. The type of people, I go on about this, but the type of people who are in the film industry are in California. That's their culture. You know, the use women, rape culture, spend a lot of money to do not a lot of whatever, and then lose a lot of money on your movie, but it's all okay because everyone got paid that needs to get paid. That's a California culture.
And then claim it was a raving success.
Yeah, claim it was a great success, and Texas is full of racists. I mean, that's the problem. That's what they're going to say every single time. The type of people who do that kind of things don't live here. Won't live here. Why would they? Because they're not going to. I mean, they're not going to be as special as they are in California because we don't care.
Yeah. So what do you well, let's not delve into that because that could start getting into slander and shit. So what does the independent filmmaker do? You know, and I think you kind of hit on it a little bit. Can you speak
Just
a little bit?
just keep working on your films, doing your own stuff, and not worry about the freaking the big guys out there, because they don't worry about us. They don't care. They don't care about what we're making, unless we make something really good, and we have. But just keep working and doing stuff here.
And then they would invite you to Hollywood.
Yeah, then they will come pick you out to try to get you to go out there.
But then how many people do we know that got that chance and went out there and then came back with their tail between their legs?
A couple.
Because it's not our culture.
It's not. It just isn't.
Especially, we've talked about this, about women in Hollywood and what you have to look forward to. It's men in Hollywood, too. There's a reason they think that everyone's out to get them. It's because in Hollywood, everyone's out to get you.
Yeah.
Not here. That's just not how we do things here. It sounds so... It's what they call redneck, is the idea. Is like, I don't know how we do things here. They try that in a small town kind of stuff. Everyone loses their fucking mind. But that's how it is here. We do not live like that. I don't know how many people I've heard this story from who because I live near Austin and have a bunch of Yankees and carpetbaggers living near me. And I had a woman the other day was telling me, she says, yeah, my car broke down and like two guys just stopped in a truck and I was scared and then they fixed my tire and blah, blah, blah. I was like, sweetheart, did you think you landed in Mogadishu? I mean, you're in Texas. This is what happens here. If you see someone on the side of the road, typically you're going to, even if you don't stop necessarily, you're going to be on the phone. Hey, there's a car on mile marker 21 something something. Could you come help him and, whatever else. If you're a woman on the side of the road, chivalry may be dead in California, but it's not dead here. Now Austin, because there's so many Yankees and carpetbaggers there, that's a problem. San Antonio, same problem. Houston, Dallas, same issue. Those aren't Texans that live there. Those are people from not Texas. But most other places you go, we still wave to people. Yeah. We still do the things we do. We will stop. I've been stopped in the middle of the street one time because two cars were pulling up and talking to each other. And I'm like, well, that's how we do. And of course, then they see you back there, and then they will actually just do like a little thing like that, and then
come right back around.
They come back around and keep talking because that's just how we are. Can you see anybody in Hollywood doing that?
No, if they pull over on the side of the road, it's because they're about to jack your car.
Right. And another thing is, I hear this from people who move here, who are friends of ours, and they'll walk up to me and they're like, Jeff, I was wondering if you could help me buy a gun. I'm like,
You don't have to
whisper. It's okay. But they've been taught that that's some kind of scary, whatever thing, and that alone, taking your initiative for your own personal defense, that doesn't happen because the government takes care of you poorly. But that's what happens there. And so coming here, it's a culture shock, not just because of the temperature, not just because of the weather, not just because of the wild pigs that will kill you and eat you.
I forgot about the hogs, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell guys all the time, is like, because people ask me why I always carry a gun.
Is
it that dangerous? And I was like, well, I'm not scared of people. People don't look at me. I'm this.
You're scary to look at
this
anyway.
face and this head and this constant scowl I have. It's like head repellent. I don't really have a problem with people wanting to jack me too much, but this doesn't work on boar hogs. Which, by the way, kids, in case you haven't noticed, are basically 450-pound living bulldozers. And they travel in groups of 50. And if they knock you down, they will kill you and they will eat you. I wish I was kidding, but this is the thing that happens in Texas.
And they are in the city.
Same thing with coyotes. Same thing with wild dogs.
Big pack of them up here a year or so ago just destroyed a whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
Brand new neighborhood just got completely destroyed.
And so people who aren't from here think they've landed in some kind of death world, and I'm okay with that. Texas breeds that type of individual. Texas is not for the weak. California is for the weak. Go back to California. And so when you have all these people, oh, Texas is going to be the new third coast, is going to be making films here. It's like, Texas films, because the weak won't come here. They can't live here. They're terrified of being here, because I don't carry a gun to keep people away from me. I carry a gun because at some point, something is going to come up to me, from me to my truck, or the truck to a store, or at night somewhere.
Oh, what was it? One of our governors was out for a jog and got attacked by
attacked by a cougar,
Yeah,
and not a hot older woman. I mean, an actual 200-pound cat. And I told that story. It's like, yeah, well, oh my God, what happened? Well, he shot it. It's like, well, his entourage? He's like, entourage? He's a governor of Texas.
He had a gun.
He had a gun. Your governor had a gun? Did you miss a part where it was governor of Texas? Did y'all miss that part? Yeah, and he went to Texas A&M. That's a funny thing. But yeah, I don't carry a gun because I'm scared of people. It's because Texas is dangerous. But I like that. People who live here like that about Texas. It sounds so weird to say. It's a crucible, I guess, to some people. But I haven't always lived here. But I grew up here. I understand how it is. I like that it's hard. I like that Texas has a reputation for being tough and mean and dangerous. I appreciate that. However, that is not conducive to men wearing skinny jeans and flip-flops who have to have their soy latte, and girls with their green tea and Kit Kats who think it's icky when it's hot and humid outside. You don't need to be here. Go somewhere else. And they do. They go to Hollywood, and Hollywood doesn't come here. I don't know why anyone thinks it. Well, they think it will because it's wishful thinking, or that's what they want. And I get that. I understand the concept. But I've been here for a bunch of years, and we all know the reality of the situation.
Yeah. So what does Texas offer filmmakers?
It's a lot cheaper.
It's a hell of a lot cheaper.
There's a lot more. There are parts of Texas where you can do whatever you want to do, and no one's going to care. I mean, permitting is not a problem like it is in California. I mean, yeah, they have the cool vistas and everything else and all these cool places. Everything's protected. Everything costs $1 bazillion. Everything's going to run you a lot of money. There's government intervention everywhere. There is nothing you can do without someone coming up to you and you owe me this and this is that and the other thing, or we're going to legal blah, 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 blah. There are huge, gigantic swaths of Texas that you could set off a nuclear explosion and nobody
would know it. Not just that, but there are places. I mean, here in the city, and we've done it. You be driving around and you see a place like, hey, that would be a cool place to shoot this particular scene. Let's go talk to the guy. The next couple of days we're filming on his property. Yeah, no problem at all.
Texas is expansive. El Paso is closer to Los Angeles than Houston.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone knows that. That's a fun thing I like telling people.
Yeah.
Because I've taken off from Los Angeles and flown to El Paso. I've taken off from Los Angeles and flown to Houston. And you're in Texas as much as you're in anywhere else. So there's great, big, huge areas where you can do stuff unopposed, unmolested, and, well, unless you're one of the actresses on a Hollywood set. And it's just a place where you could just do whatever. And that's a good thing. The bad part, the summers are brutal. Brutal.
Very.
And it's not a recent thing. Everyone's like, oh, global warming has done this. Guys, in 1983, the temperatures were 100 degrees.
There's a reason that when Texas was founded, that Mexico invited, Stephen F. Austin and all, and his settlers in, because there was only like 20 or 30,000 people in Texas to start with. Because nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah.
There was no air conditioning. There was no, indoors. There was no shade.
There were sun and rattlesnakes.
There's no water.
Yeah.
Most of the lakes in Texas are manufactured.
Yeah.
Because they had to dam up rivers and make lakes. There's not water in Texas. There's a couple of rivers. It is a dry, hard crucible of a land. And it always has been. Texas is not for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. A lot of problems with Hollywood being here, not just because they're weak and faint of heart, just because the people that they would have with them if they are in Hollywood, would be weak and faint of heart. Locals would be able to handle it.
Yes.
But they're not going to hire locals. They're going to hire their people because they want it done their way with their people and their stuff. And I get that. Tribalism is a thing. You know, you've trained these people to do this thing. I don't have to train new people to do new things. I get that. But if you're going to leave and California has nice weather. I mean, it really does. The people are bad, but the weather is nice. They have stunning vistas that you could film upon. The mountains and the valleys and the beautiful areas. Although a lot of it you have to film a certain way because there's cities and people everywhere. They're like a plague.
The last thing I just want to touch on is from an actor's perspective. You have a lot of actors that are going to want to move to Hollywood, move to New York, whatever, become those famous actors. But my take on it is that I think they should stay in a place like Texas, and make your connections here, and you're going to get to make these little smaller independent films. You're not going to become Margot Robbie. You're not going to become Leonardo DiCaprio, but you're going to make if you're out in Texas, you're going to get to play characters like Hottie in Second to Last Worst Day. Be in projects like the Innocent Saga, which we've talked about, where it was 1 year and you see the growth of the actors from chapter 1 to chapter 10 and how much better we became as actors and how much I learned on it. You're going to grow and you're going to be in these projects rather than if you're in Hollywood, you're still running a risk you're not going to become that Robbie. Odds are you're not.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of role. I might not get this chance again.
You're probably going to be the dancing tooth in a Colgate commercial. What would not everybody's going to see you in an independent film, but you're going to get to play those characters. You're going to get to be that those roles, as opposed to that. So, what's your take?
Well, I mean, you kind of said it. The people that are from here should work here. Get into their craft. Get like we've done a few films together, and you're having some successes online with several of them, especially the latest ones, and get your recognition that way. These people that think that they're just going to run off to Hollywood, especially, and like I said earlier, you've seen these people. We know people that have gone there and come right back. But Hollywood right now is not the Hollywood it used. It's even today is not the Hollywood it used to be, where you could go there and maybe you get discovered. They're not discovering anybody anymore because all of old Hollywood had kids. I mean, look, any movie you see now is nothing but the cast list of nepotism. We don't have a chance because Clint Eastwood's kids is out there now and doing his thing. So stick around here, and I mean, if this is what you want to do, you've said this before too. Why are you doing it? You doing it because you want the paycheck, or you doing it because you love doing it? If you love doing it, you can do it here. You can do it cheaper. You can do it on the weekends. And maybe people notice you, recognize you someplace, and that's kind of cool. And maybe they don't, and that's okay too. If
people recognize Brad from Sierra Rabbit in Spain.
Really.
That would be terrifying.
Hollywood is Hollywood. If that's what they want, by all means, go for it. Knock yourself out. Take your best shot. I'm not gonna. Far be it from me to tell anybody don't chase your dreams if that's what it is, but have realistic expectations, because you're not. There's nobody that you or I or anybody in here that we knows that's going to go to Hollywood and be in the next, popcorn blockbuster film. None of us. So I'd rather just be here myself doing, okay, what do we got next? What's on the next plate? Because I want to be somebody different now. Hollywood can, if they ever come calling, cool. They're not gonna. And I'm okay with that.
Charles was doing it here. He was working stuff on our projects, everybody's school projects, but he was also supporting himself doing like training films and stuff around town, that kind of thing. He was making a living being an actor in San Antonio. He did have to do like some, I think, delivery, like I don't know if it was Amazon delivery or something like that. But he was working for him.
Everyone's got to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've all got real jobs, so you and I were just talking about that. So doing it here kind of gives us the chance to do both. We can still support ourselves with a regular job and then get to do the acting and what we want to do on the weekends, or take some time off and do it there, and not have to worry about living in a van down by the river. Are there even any rivers in California? I have no idea.
There's a couple, but they're all in the city.
Well, I think it comes down to what Jade said best in our making of the Innocent Saga, where we were asking. I mean, he was pretty well known. He's like, why do you want to come on? Why do you want to be in a little independent film like Innocent Saga? And he said,
There's only so much time in the course of your productive life. I'd rather be playing Jax than be a dancing waiter in Hello Dolly, even if it was the big giant revival film of it, because I know that I can do that and much more, and I know the direction I want to take is probably in an independent films, because that's where the risks are being taken.
Well, and that's true too. I mean, there's Johnson in Night Watchman. There's not a chance in hell I would ever be picked to play a character like that, in Hollywood. But I come here and it works.
And like you said, that far be it from any of us to tell someone what to do.
Right.
I mean, we've all had big dreams. We've all tried to shoot and do what we can. It works out. It doesn't work out. You and I have talked at length many times about all the detours and things to get me to where I am in my career. If you want to have that, you should try it. However, with realistic expectations. Otherwise, as another what went wrong we talked about, you failed to plan, so you didn't plan to fail. And if it works out, awesome. But the odds are not with you. And so the reality of the situation needs to govern your behavior.